So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Helping while searching. I'm Paul Stevens, Fox News. Communities in Texas left with devastation as flooding mangles trees, flips cars, and results in dozens of deaths. Fox Weather's Bain, Froney, and hard-hit Kerrville, Texas, where rescue and recovery efforts are well underway.
It's been a really hard past couple of days for this community. The images that we've been seeing coming out of this, especially when the floodwaters have finally started to recede, we're actually starting to see what damage has been left behind, and it's just devastating. Homes completely swept away off their foundation. Giant trees uprooted, neighborhoods, parts of them just completely destroyed. And of course, the most important, mass loss of life due to this intense and just heartbreaking flooding event that occurred here.
At least 50 deaths have been connected to the flash flooding as fast-moving waters in the Guadalupe River rose 26 feet in just 45 minutes. Officials in South Carolina warning of rough surf and flash flooding as Tropical Storm Chantal moves inland.
We are taking the brunt of the wind north Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Our peak gust down at the Spring Maid Pier in Myrtle Beach, 56 miles an hour. So far, that's the highest gust recorded on land. We've had anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of rain. The flood watches continue up here in Horry County and Georgetown counties, and they've issued flood watches for the interior parts of North Carolina. So if you're driving up 95 on parts of 40 or even 85, what's left of Chantal is heading that way, and there's a flood watch instance for Raleigh-Durham area.
And that's Fox Weather's Mike Seidel in Myrtle Beach. A merchant ship coming under attack today in the Red Sea off the Yemeni coast. Armed men and 8 skiffs firing guns and rocket-propelled grenades, according to British military monitors. The ship's security team returning fire, but the situation reportedly remains active. America's listening to Fox News.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
It's time to take the quiz.
It's 5 questions in less than 5 minutes. We asked people on the streets of New York City to play along. Let's see how you do.
What is the name of the coffee shop in the sitcom Friends?
Mel's Diner.
Central Perk.
The answer? Central Perk.
Either way, you can always try again tomorrow. Take the quiz every day at thequiz.fox, then come back here to see how you did.
And thank you for taking the quiz.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Violence in Indy over the weekend. Partly cloudy and 85. I'm Jake McDaniel. Here's what's trending at 11:03. There were several other Indy shootings Saturday evening and Sunday morning. That includes a man who was in bad shape after he tried to carjack a person who opened fire to prevent the carjacking at an East Side gas station on East New York Street. Families and friends of those impacted by Saturday morning shootings say they are just trying to cope with everything. Aries White tells Wish TV he will always remember his friend who was shot and killed.
He had a big heart, like he was always there for people. Even if you're not his own, like he would be always there.
If you know anything, you can give IMPD a call. It's time to get a grip on the violence in Indianapolis. That's the message from the Indianapolis City County Council Majority Leader Maggie Lewis. John Herrick reports.
After Saturday's mass shooting and the call from Mayor Joe Hogsett to institute a curfew on teenagers to make sure they're not out too late, Lewis said police not only need overtime money for their work downtown, but they also need to maintain a public safety presence in Castleton and Broad Ripple. She also wants action organizations to work with police to de-escalate situations. Reporting from Indianapolis, John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Indiana Fever lost to the Los Angeles Sparks 89-87 last night at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in downtown Indy. The Fever take on the Golden State Valkyries Wednesday at noon. Your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Partly cloudy, hot and humid. Scattered storms return this afternoon. Today's high 92. Scattered storms diminish late tonight. Mostly cloudy, a low of 71. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
I'm Jake McDaniel on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Why do so many basement companies want half the money up front? Could it be because it's easier to get than earning all your trust? At the Michaelis Corporation, they don't ask for a deposit until the job is done and you're completely satisfied. They even start with a free inspection to ensure you know exactly what your home needs without the guesswork. With over 35 years experience, they've proven that trust is built on results, not deposits. Michaelis, building trust beneath your feet. Visit michaeliscorp.com.
Summertime's here, so get a hot summertime deal at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get Lincoln's employee pricing on most all new Lincolns. Get up to $20,000 off select 2024 Navigators. Up to $8,000 off select 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Come and see why the Roush family has served the community for over 53 years at Tom Roush Lincoln.
Navigator MSRP 105-195. Nautilus MSRP 60-195. 2025 Navigators excluded from employee pricing. Subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details.
Sunday. This is the first day, the WIBC Sunday Magazine. My name is Terri Stacy. I'm here with Kyle and Tally.
Good morning. I hope your festivities were fun and safe this 4th of July. I know I am still at least smelling the remnants of fireworks. It's a little cloudy. It was a little smoggy where I am at this morning.
Some say that I mean, it's been said, I think we talked about this yesterday on the Home and Garden Show. It's an inversion, which I think has to do with the fireworks smoke and the way the air is right now. It just lingered. Mm-hmm. So that fogginess, yes, if you still see it, it could be, but it is cloudy right now. 85 degrees already. It's hot, hot, hot. 11:06. Denny is out today, but it has been, I feel, normally we bring you, I mean, really, this is a very lighthearted show. And we're going to keep that balance. We're going to still keep that balance of letting you know of things that are happening and some fun stuff too. It is still Independence Weekend, and we're going to check with Blake Champlin, who is a stand-up comedian, lives here, I believe, if my memory is correct.
Hoosier.
And he is walking the perimeter of the country.
The whole thing. Still in Florida right now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Started out in January in Florida. And so we'll check in with him and see how he's doing as he roams our country. But we also are going to talk about this violence that continues to happen everywhere, mind you, everywhere. But in downtown Indianapolis, this one that happened over the weekend, it truly affected me in a way. I have to admit that I have become, I mean, this is just the truth. There's so much violence and so many shootings that I'm getting numb to it, to where that outrage that we should feel every time it happens, it doesn't happen inside of me anymore. And I hate that because I've grown up here. I mean, I'm a lifelong Hoosier, Central Indiana, and worked here, downtown Indianapolis, most of my career of working. And so to see how it has changed and to see what it has become, it is heartbreaking, truly heartbreaking for me because I love this city. I love it. Mm-hmm. I have so many memories that are all from the time I was a kid to now. But something has changed. And I know we keep hearing it takes a village. I understand that. And believe me, the village is doing everything it can, I think. I mean, I'm not talking about our government, but certainly our IMPD and all of the organizations that are doing, the churches, everybody, and in trying to make a difference. And but what I never hear so much until this weekend is parents. This is truly, it starts with you. And some will say, well, you're not a parent. You don't know, and you don't know my situation. I don't. I really don't. But it starts with you, I feel like, as somebody just watching on the outside. And it's frustrating. And Chief Bailey and what he endured and all of IMP that endured this past weekend, it's, you can just see it in his face and hear it in his voice that as he says, I am tired of it. And he truly is speaking out of the frustration. You could hear him. He was on the verge of either yelling or crying or something. But I mean, he was so angry and so sad at the same time because, again, 2 teenagers lost their lives again. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't. And we can talk, and we will talk to those that are doing what they can. We'll have, I believe, in the next hour, FOP Rick Snyder will join us for a few minutes to talk about their message in what happened and their thoughts. And then we will also check in just a few minutes, in fact.
With a community partner with IMPD, trying to help make this change around downtown.
Yeah. Kareem Hines is his name.
Yep, of New Boy Inc. We'll talk with him in just a moment.
Came from Brooklyn. Came from Brooklyn, came here trying his best to do, and believe me, there are success stories. And we'll talk about that too, because what they're doing, along with many of these outreach organizations, they're doing everything. They're doing everything they can. But parents, holy cow. When you drop, you keep hearing, well, moms, there's no dad involved. The moms are working 3 jobs to take care of the kids. Look, if you can't feed yourself, stop having kids, right? Until you can get your feet on the ground, whatever that means. But when I hear that, and then I hear Chief Bailey say there were parents or adults that were dropping kids off downtown here and then leaving close to midnight, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's just frustrating. It is frustrating and it's sad, and I know you all feel it too a little bit, but this time this one hit. It's right here around our building. I came in last week and they're boarded up next door because of the gunshots here on Monument Circle into the glass windows, not in our building, but next to us. And then coming down this weekend and walking by a few times the crime scene between Meridian on Washington Street in Illinois, and then on up on Illinois to Market. This one just hit me in a different way. And I think it's because I have been numb to it. Kylan, I haven't let you speak at all. I'm sorry.
That's okay. We're going to get plenty of time to speak.
You're right. It's
11.
What time is it? 11. Let's take a break because we do want to bring in Kareem and talk to him a little bit too. We'll do that. And again, we're going to have a little fun too. But this is just a top story today, and I just feel it in my soul that this is just a sad, sad time for us. And we've got to stop being numb to this and see what can happen and what we can do to change this, if anything. But we'll talk more about it. I'm going to take a break, okay? It's 11:12. This is the first day. I'm glad you're here. 93 WIBC.
When you wake
a degree. 84 and cloudy in downtown Indianapolis. It's 11:16. This is the first day on 93 WIBC. I'm Terri Stacy along with Kylan Talley.
We talked about the tragedy that happened over the weekend. The mass shooting downtown, 7 people shot. 2 of those were minors who lost their lives. And we talk about how desensitized we are to these awful headlines.
Yeah.
But I hope there's more we can do than just pray. And someone who is doing the work to try and help with this community change is Kareem Hines, founder of New Breed of Youth, Inc., known as New Boy, Inc. Kareem, thank you so much for spending time on this Sunday to be with us, even unfortunately due to these circumstances. Thank you, Kareem.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I'm humbled, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Can we start with your reaction to this? Like I mentioned,
I was saying earlier, I was so mad. This one touched me in a different way, Kareem. It was, I've been here a long time, born and raised here, and have worked most of my life, 40 years, in the downtown area. And so I've been watching how it has changed, and it really has. And I started to think, these headlines, we're in the news business, the headlines, I'm afraid that I started to become desensitized to it. And this time, the anger came back. The anger and the frustration and the sadness, all the things came back. And this one touched me in a whole different way. And you're living this. I guess maybe we start out and we ask about what you do. You're the founder of New Breed of Youth, and it's also known as New Boy. And tell us what you do.
I try to be a transformational figure in the lives of these young men. I'm unfortunately, but fortunately, I'm from Harlem, New York. I was born and raised in Harlem, New York. I had a mentor through the Harlem YMCA, and I know the transformational effect that my mentor had on me. And my mentor eventually left the Harlem YMCA and moved to Indianapolis. About a year after he moved, he called me as a 19-year-old young man and asked me if I wanted to move to Indianapolis. And first I said no. Why would I want to do that? I'm good. But I had a dad in my life. I had an active father in my life, but my relationship with my mentor was different, so different that I accepted his offer. And I eventually moved to Indianapolis with my mentor. So without going into the weeds of that, I understood early the power and the effect and impact that a mentor could have on a young man. Because like I said, I had my father in my life. I didn't have my mom, but I had my father. But this man, who I had no biological connection to, had such a impact and effect and love for me that he pulled me out of my situation in Harlem, New York, and asked me to come live with him in Indianapolis. So I've always wanted to have that same kind of effect on other young men, but instead of one, I wanted to have that impact on hundreds and thousands. So that kind of led me to start the mentoring program. And right now we mentor young men between the ages of 6 and 17 years old in our traditional social recreation mentoring program. We're active 5 days a week here in the city of Indianapolis. We work with 3 cohorts of youth. So we work with youth that are referred to us from the Juvenile Probation Department. We also work with youth that are referred to us from the Department of Child Services. And then we have our community-based youth. Those are youth who are not system involved, but their parents or their guardians see them possibly going down the wrong path or just need them to be around positive men, role models. So we have those 3 cohorts of youth, and we commingle them in activities, events throughout the year. We take a bunch of college tours to get out of Indianapolis because exposure is a huge, huge deal for us with these young men. So in a nutshell, that's kind of just what I'm blessed to do.
Mm-hmm. Kareem Hines was part of the presser that Mayor Joe Hogsett and IMPD Chief Bailey held yesterday because you are a community partner with the IMPD. You have witnessed this gun violence throughout the years. What was your reaction to what happened this weekend, though?
I echo the sentiments of the lady who spoke earlier. A bunch of emotions. For me, it hit a little bit different because of the young men I work with and the demographic of kids. I'm reaching out that morning to mentors. I'm asking them, hey, check your cell phones, check on your boys that you work with. And we started getting messages back from the young men. And we started getting screenshots of the carnage that occurred downtown. And there were young people laid out on the ground. The young man who, those pictures hit a little bit different. young men were sending us pictures of their clothes and had blood on it, blood on the clothes.
It's awful. It's just so
it
awful.
Hurt. It hurt. It hurt. Yeah.
It hurt.
It hurt.
You know, I want to ask you, the number one, and there's a million reasons, I'm sure, but maybe the common or maybe the number one reason kids go down a wrong path.
I believe, from my experience and talking to the kids I talk to, one of the main reasons is that generational trauma. Our young men, the young men I work with right now, they have their own trauma they're dealing with, but they're also dealing with their granddaddy's trauma, their daddy's trauma, their mommy's trauma, and they don't have an outlet. So they deal with all this pain, they deal with all this generational trauma, and a lot of them don't have a legit outlet. When I say a legit outlet, I'm meaning just a trusted adult, maybe a man. And shout out to all the moms out there. I never want to negate and diminish the effect moms have on their sons, but I always tell I tell the moms that I work with, I tell the young men I work with, I really believe that moms love their sons and dads raise them. And again, that doesn't diminish the effect that moms have, but I know I have a different relationship with my 10-year-old son than my wife has with him.
Yeah.
I am kind of the disciplinarian. My wife is the one who rubs him, who hugs him, who really makes him feel that comfort. And I just do it in a different way, because I know once he leaves his home, what he's going to have to deal with as a young African-American male or just a young man in this community. So I also give him an outlet, and that's what we try to do within our program. And I don't care what we have to do, and we call it connection before correction. We will engage a young man in any activity that they feel comfortable with or that they can gravitate to in order for us to make that connection with them. Because once we can make that connection with them, that's when the correction starts. That's when the trust is built. That's when the rapport is built. And that's when the pain starts to come out. And they start opening up. And they start talking. So no matter what the referral says from a juvenile probation youth or a DCS youth, or no matter what kind of conversation I've had, initial conversation I've had with a parent or guardian of why they're bringing their son to New Boy, I'm always getting a different message from that young man. He really lets me know what's going on. And I think we want to start understanding the root causes of this pain. I don't think any of those young men downtown that died or that were the shooters woke up that morning and said, I'm going to go kill somebody today.
Yeah.
Or I want to go and just die today. No, I don't believe that. I do believe that they might not be in a position where they're being affirmed in a positive way, but I can tell you they're definitely being affirmed in a negative way through this music, through social media, and through some of the images that they just see in their daily lives that give them a false representation of what a man is.
Wow. And you start at 6 years old. You know, you start at 6 years old when a 6-year-old child should be having they should be in a whole nother state, right? I mean, they should be loving life and no cares in the world. And you're starting them at 6 years old, but that's because you have to in this day and age, right?
You have to plant those seeds early. And I started karate when I was 6 years old at the Harlem YMCA. So I know firsthand what that'll do. There's a discipline. I instill and try to instill discipline. And discipline can start as early as 2, 3. Consistency.
Yeah.
And my definition of discipline, and I talk to these young men about it, is the ability to make yourself do what you don't want to do, but you know it has to be done whether you like it or not. Imagine that. Imagine we can instill early in these young people, girls and boys, discipline, the ability to make yourself do what you don't want to do. And I tell these young men every day, I know you don't want to get up and go to school every day. I know you don't want to stay in a class for 8 hours a day. I know you don't want to clean that room. I know you don't want to come home at a certain time. I know you don't want to feel like you're the lame one. So you really might not want to go downtown. You really might not want to go to the canal, but you feel like you're going to be judged and you're going to be that outlier in your social group. So you just go and you follow. But imagine if you had the discipline, the self-confidence, and the self-control to say, no, I'm good, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm good. I'll see you tomorrow.
Wow. Yeah.
And there's so much going on in this community where I think our young men are asking for help. They're begging for it. I just don't think we have enough of the adults around in the community that are trauma responsive. It's one thing to be trauma informed. We're all trauma informed. We know our kids are hurt. I'm not saying anything that nobody doesn't understand. Our kids are in pain. Yes, they're screaming out for help. But now when they scream out for help, how responsive are you? Can you recognize the cues?
Yeah, can you recognize? And that's what the cues. Kylan, go ahead,
it's a
please.
huge thing. We were talking about this earlier, Terry and I. What do you look for in those signs? What can you be on the lookout for? Because most of the time, you see them after the fact. Something happens. Oh, that's what that meant. How can we be preventative ahead of that?
I think we have to be a little bit more unconventional in our approach. That's a great question, by the way. I'll tell you what I do. I make sure that I immerse myself as much as possible in the lives of these young people. The language, I want to know it. I want to know what their latest terms are. I want to know how they communicate. Because our kids have an underground language that if you don't immerse yourselves in it, you'll never know what these kids are talking about. You'll see a text message from kids, and you're like, oh, that's harmless. But they could be plotting, whether it be plotting to leave the house late at night or plotting to get picked up by someone early in the morning, whatever the case may be. But I want to immerse myself in the music. The music is huge with kids, just like it was huge with us. Music has a huge influence on our behavior, on the way we see life. Music is huge with these kids. And I'm not talking about the music that's on mainstream radio. I'm talking about the music that they're listening to with those headphones all day, every day, that becomes a part of their psyche.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the aggressive language sometimes you might hear from them, the attitude, the way they walk. You know, with young men, the pants off the behind. I look for anything that I consider not a social norm, and I try to make the connection with them first before I make the correction. I think too many of us do it backwards. You want to make the correction in these young people without having a connection with you. And talking to the chief yesterday, he mentioned that he was downtown and he was engaging with a young man, and the young man was so little. And a lot of stuff was going on, and the chief was, moving around really fast, and he bumped into this young man, and the young man looked at him and said, "You can't arrest us all."
Just wow.
Yeah. And he's right.
And he's right. The things I heard that the police endured on that night, it was just people with parents dropping off carloads of kids and leaving and taking off, and assault rifles stuffed in the pants of kids walking towards them, and just the whole thing. And I don't know. Do you think a curfew could? I know this is when they say the first step, we're going to enforce this curfew. You think that's going to change much?
I think it could move the needle. But I think it has to be more, again, than just the surface. Like, let's put a curfew in place. There has to be a plan and a strategy. And I'll tell you the strategy that I'm talking about. I even mentioned this yesterday, kind of piggyback on some things that the chief and his team were already talking about. You put a curfew in place, and if you have to, you start gathering kids up, but you have community partners that open their doors between the hours of 12 a.m. and 3 a.m., 4 a.m. You gather these kids up, different sides of town, and you take them. I don't know if it's just this way, but why not take them to a welcoming place? I don't think it should be punitive at all. You take 20, 25 kids. And I'll take me, for example. I have my team. We're in place. We open the doors of the church that we operate out of. We have basketball. We have food. We got music playing. These kids come in, and they're totally taken aback by, hey, what's this? But it's their kind of music. We got food, we got drinks, but we're strategic in how we engage with them. And we sit down and we have a conversation with them. And I will tell you this, out of every program we do in New Boy, 5 days a week, the most powerful program we do is called our New Boy Leaders Circle, and that's Wednesday. And we don't play basketball. They're not in the recording studio. We're not lifting weights. We're not in the boxing gym. You know what we do, ladies? We just sit down and talk. The kids love that.
Yeah, the kids
we
just
sit
talk.
in a
You're
circle.
listening,
They just
right?
talk. Yes. That is the most powerful program that we have. Grandparents come. Parents come. So they can learn about their children from the mouths of other young people. So that talking component, and it's energy. You got to bring the energy. I mean, 12 a.m., 1 a.m. in the morning, who really wants to be up? But you got to have the right people in place. You bring that energy, and you ask those young men, what in the hell was y'all doing downtown? Come on now. Y'all know it's a curfew. Yeah. You talk in their language to connect with them. They get to open up. I'm not trying to be punitive. I'm not telling them what's going to happen and the consequences, but you eventually come to that point. But while you're doing that, you're feeding them, giving them something to drink. You might throw a basketball out. You might have to get out there and play basketball for a half hour, start sweating with them just to develop the connection. I think that can work. You bring me 25 young men, and if I can connect with 2, say I can connect with 2, and 2 of them go, hey, Mr. Kareem, I kind of was feeling what you were saying. Can I talk to you? 'Cause that's usually how it happens.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you on the side. I talk to them. They become connected to the program. That's 2 that we save. That's 2.
You save one at a time. Right. Take one at a time.
One at a time. Yes. I don't think this happens in groups. But what we also do is those other young men, parents have to come pick them up. So you will inconvenience the parents a little bit. But I would rather parents come pick their kid up from a gym at 2 o'clock in the morning than a parent getting that call at 2 o'clock in the morning saying you got to come ID your son at the morgue. I bet you any parent would rather that. So, I'll be inconvenienced to come and pick my son up, but I don't want to come identify my son's body. But you get that parent's information. You're not punitive with them. You kind of say, hey, we got to be on top of this. So now you put a team in place to contact that parent next week. Hey, I'm just checking in on you. How's little Johnny doing? I know you came to pick him up. How are you doing? Because sometimes we don't ask the parents how they're doing. You can't work with kids and move the needle with progressing with kids if you're not empathetic, not sympathetic, but empathetic towards the plight of the moms and the families and the dads out here. So you connect with that parent. And then that network of resources, that parent might need something. It might be help with a job. It might be help with rent. It might be help putting gas in their car. It might be taking that parent to a Kroger or a Meijer to go shopping for food that week. But you make the connection. So now I'm not only getting the son, now I got the mom or the grandma.
There you go.
And they see, oh, wow, these people really care. And you create a program, not with one program, but a network, the ecosystem. So now I call our partner with Voices, and I call you guys, or I call so-and-so. Now we wrap this family with support, not help. I hate that word help. I'm not trying to help you. I just want to support you. Because sometimes help, people say, I don't want help. I don't need help. But we all need support, if that makes sense. I don't want to talk your ears off.
No. It's good. I could listen to you for a long time. Kylan's got one more question. Kylan, you good?
Connection before correction. I just want to make sure if anyone wants to get a part of these programs, you need to go to their website, ibnbmentor.org, to get all of the information about all the programs that you do across the board.
Yeah.
Founder of New Boy.
Let me give you this real quick. A quick
do.
correction. We have 2 websites because the same information I'm giving you about the young men, my wife runs the same program for young ladies. It's called Inner Beauty.
Oh, wow.
The same exact program. That's our sister program. And a lot of times, ladies, we diminish the role of these young ladies in what we see in our community with these boys. I work with them every day. The boys do a lot of what they do, the way they dress, the way they move, the way they engage, because they're trying to get the attention of these young ladies. And sometimes we don't highlight these young ladies and the role that they have. We don't give them the support that they need. And the benefit of New Boy is our sister organization, Inner Beauty, so we can teach and promote healthy relationships. So that website you just gave, ibnbmentor.org, that is a joint website between me and my wife. So you will definitely get information there, but I also have our own website called newbreedofyouth.org. That is specifically dedicated to the young men, New Boy. My phone number is up there. My email is up there. I'm not trying to hide. Parents can reach out. There's no registration fee for our program. Like I said, we engage the young men and the family. In family events, we go on college tours. We get ready to take the kids to Orlando for 5 days in July. We do a lot. We're taking the karate team to New York in September. We're doing a lot, and we do not have a capacity right now. So if you reach out, Mom, Dad, whoever's listening, you reach out, I will make sure me or my team gets back with you so we can get this going.
And listen, I also want to mention, I'm sure you can use help. And I know we don't like that, but I knew you could use support, I should say. And maybe that's a volunteer role for you or whatever that may be. But again, newbreedofyouth.org is where you start. And listen, Kareem, I would love to talk about, because you brought to life that the girls, they also play a role in this. And I think that's an important part of it. And so let's talk to your wife next time. Let's get her with us here next week maybe, and we talk a little bit more. I think that sounds good.
I can give her your information. I can give you guys a group text. She would she would love that. And
I
I'm
would
pretty
love it
sure
too.
some of the things that she
We'll
can
reach
tell
out.
you would
Yep.
astound you and would be enlightening.
Absolutely. We'll do it. But in the meantime, bless your heart. Thank you for all you're doing. I know you're making a difference. There are success stories, and then you just keep on, one day at a time, one kid at a time. And so thank you for that, coming to our city and doing what you're doing. And again, and your time today too. I know it's a your busy time as always, but a sad time for us today. And I thought you could enlighten us a little bit.
And
You taught us some things. So thank you a million times.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and I definitely want to shout out all the providers and different community organizations who are working with these kids who might not get a chance to be on your show or have a voice. We are all in this together, and that is the only way we move the needle, together.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. It is 11:36. We'll take a break. 93 WIBC. It's 11:42. Is it my turn, Kylan? Terri Stacy, Kylan Talley. Guess who's here? Matt Bear.
Hi.
There he is.
I'm struggling.
He's been working in the studio.
Hello. Hi.
Happy Independence Day weekend.
Thank you. And same to you all and everybody listening.
I'm listening. This is the balance I'm talking about. We talked earlier. We spoke with Kareem Hine about the mass shooting downtown. Now this is the balance. Now we're going to talk to, on this Independence Day holiday weekend, we're going to celebrate freedom with one American that is currently walking the United States perimeter at Blake's Big Walk on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, a massive charity walk. And joining us now, everybody, is Blake Champlin.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Where are you?
I'm not sure if I'm technically in, but I think I'm in Jacksonville now.
Jacksonville, Florida.
That is correct, yes.
And you began this journey January, is that correct?
Yes, January 7th. It'll be 6 months tomorrow.
Okay. And you started where?
I started in Sarasota, Florida.
And he's walking, and he's walking, and he's walking, and he's walking. Okay, so listen, we're glad that you're here, and remind everybody why you're on this journey.
Well, I'm on this journey because my heart told me to do it. I came up with the idea, and I immediately had this feeling, this overwhelming feeling that says that this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. And so I'm trying to turn this into something that, spreads good, and because, as you're well aware, people aren't really happy right now, and I'm trying to use my skills the best way that I can to make that better, and so that's what I'm doing.
You've had some wild adventures already on this journey of yours at Blake's Big Walk, like we mentioned, on all your social media. Tell us where you slept last night, where you got your lovely night of rest.
I think that's a little personal.
Last night, I actually slept in between two trash compactors behind a big strip mall.
Blake.
Okay.
Blake.
Okay.
And that's not even probably the craziest place that you will or have slept.
What was it up to this point the craziest place you've slept?
Was it the craziest place? No, probably not. I can't think of everywhere I slept. I think the two nights before I slept behind a Publix, or a Publix is a grocery store down here in Florida.
Right.
I found a perfect area, which turned out to be like a little walking path that I was unaware of, but I was surprised by people coming through a couple of times, but nobody seemed to care. So
Well, at least when you sleep behind the Publix, you can go get your groceries in the morning.
Sure.
You have to carry them probably all the way across the southern seaboard, but at least you can get your stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Blake.
Yeah. So, but it was perfect because I slept there on the 4th or on the 3rd, and whatever. I'm not sure exactly what town I was in, but they had their fireworks on the 3rd, and I could see a perfect view of all the aerial stuff. So I got to enjoy all the fireworks that night, and I was very happy to do so.
Oh, I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Matt, do you have any questions for Blake?
Yeah, Blake, Matt Bear, how you doing?
I'm good.
Just got to hang it out with you guys today. I wanted to ask you, you said part of your skill set is what you're doing with this walk. Why was it a walk that you decided to spread a good word of positivity here? What made you decide on the walk? Is there something with you that just likes to walk?
I do, actually. I do really like to walk, even though for years of my life, it took a lot of effort to get myself going, but I do really enjoy walking. I'm the kind of guy that actually parks in the back of the parking lot where nobody parks, just to walk into the front, partly because it's more convenient. I don't have to deal with traffic back there, and partly because I just want the exercise.
Sure.
Well,
you're
getting
it.
Yeah.
You're sure getting
I understand this. I do it all the time. I do it all the time.
Man, talk about liking walking. You are on this journey already, and then you took another journey on top of that. Last week, you finished the Journey to Freedom. It's a 24-hour nonstop hike. Tell us about this journey within a journey.
Okay, so a very good friend of mine named Tom Russell, who is in Ohio, I met him. We talked about this a little bit last time. I met him on a 24-hour hike in Georgia, and that hike was so empowering to him and me as well that he decided to take it to the next level and do his own 24-hour hike. Actually, I'm not sure they do 24. They do a 12 to 15, but he does it. His is a charity thing that he does it specifically for people that couldn't afford to pay to go do this hike we did and are also in need, like for veterans with PTSD, people who have addiction issues and various other things. And he's making it all free for all of them. And because I know the impact that had on me, the 24-hour hike, that I wanted to help him raise money for that. So I was in St. Augustine. I actually spent 2 months in St. Augustine, and I did a 24-hour walk around St. Augustine in order to help raise money for that cause. His cause is Journey to Freedom in Ohio.
This is Blake Champlin, and he is on a journey on this Independence Day holiday. I thought we would check in with him as he is walking the perimeter of the United States of America. And, you know, your life, including your mental state, you said, has changed a bit since you started. Is it for the better or for the worse since you've started?
It is so much for the better. I mean, I think part of it is just because I'm following my heart and I'm following what I feel like I'm supposed to do with my life. I think that is a huge impact on my mental state. A part is that this has forced me to have to come to terms with some things about myself and learn to just accept things and move on. And learning how and a lot of that was anxiety and being afraid of everything in life. And now I just have to do things like sleeping between two trash compactors.
Sure.
And you know, who knows who's going to show up in the middle of the night during that, including raccoons. So
woodland creatures, people, a thousand things. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, 1,000 things. So
oh my gosh, it's so cool.
It's facing a lot of fears. I think facing the fears has really helped me grow an awful lot, and stepping way out of my comfort zone has helped all of that.
That's so
and
cool.
I can. It's so. I enjoy this walk so much. I've had so many cool things happen and seen so many neat things and met so many great people that I never would have enjoyed it that way if I hadn't really started working on this mental state. So it's been fantastic.
Ugh. All right, we've got about, 30 seconds? About 30 seconds before we let you go. Anything quickly? I guess, have you wanted to quit at all?
No, I have not got to that point yet, but I
Okay.
know it's going to happen. And that's going to be the true moment of
You can't do
growth
it.
right there.
Just keep going.
Just keep going.
Yeah, that's right. And I have a great support group to help me when I need someone to talk to. So that's a fantastic thing to have.
It's a fantastic thing to have, and I know there's a lot of people that are listening right now. If you would like to continue to support Blake Champlin, go to @BlakesBigWalk on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. He's amazing. And Blake, I'm not going to let time pass as long as we have this last time. We'll check in again with you in the next few weeks and talk more about maybe the humor, since you are a stand-up comic by nature, to see maybe the humor you have found in this walk so far. But in the meantime, thanks for giving us your time today. Be safe.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Thank you very much.
You betcha.
Thanks,
Love
Blake.
it.
Keep it up.
See you later, Alligator. 11:52. This is the first day. 93 WIBC.
Join
in the
Are
2000s.
you sure? Did you check the Carpenters?
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, we do love the Carpenters here.
So today, again, next hour, we're going to be talking, again, I'm going to find that balance. We will talk to Rick Snyder with the FOP to talk about what happened here downtown Indianapolis over the weekend. But until then, I want to tell you that it's National Fried Chicken Day.
Whoop, whoop.
It's my favorite day of the year.
Talk about American.
It's my favorite day of the year. And if I can, now you're all going to say, what are you talking about? But I do believe there's a couple places, and one that has the best fried chicken is MCL.
And that's good. What's wrong with MCL?
Well, you know how you all think about MCL. I know it. I hear you saying it. I hear you saying it.
What do we say?
Well, that's where people like you should be eating.
It's
No,
delicious.
you're talking about my age, and I don't like it. Needler's, by the way. Hollyhock Hill, his place eatery. Love it. News is next.
Home sales activity is good, not great. So many homes
This is the first day, the WIBC Sunday Magazine Show. I'm Terri Stacy. Hi. Denny's not here today, but somebody's sitting in his chair. Well, at least the Sunday chair. Denny's. It's Matt Bear.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Matt.
Thanks for having me here.
Thank you for being here. Oh, Kylan, can I move the camera so people can see him?
Yeah, we'll move it in just a little bit.
Okay. I mean, mine.
I'm going to wave to it anyways.
Okay, he's waving anyway.
Sorry.
If you're just joining us, last hour we had an amazing conversation, an important conversation, I think, in the wake of what happened over the weekend. And as I mentioned to you in the beginning, I feel terrible, Matt and Kylan, too, because I really have become desensitized to the morning news every day of shots fired, people down, people injured, people killed, and I hate that it's just become a part of the news every day.
It's hard to listen to.
Hard
right
to
now.
listen to, and today, and for some reason, this particular incident that happened over the weekend, this violence, losing 2 teens. This was a mix of adults and young people, youth. The hundreds of people that stayed after a fantastic night of fireworks. Hundreds still stayed downtown. It was just an awful situation, and a sad situation. And now I'm angry about it again too. And I continue to go back to, listen, we poured lots of money into resources and great organizations. We had a great conversation with, Kylan found us a great guest,
Kareem Hines of New Boy Inc.
New Boy Inc. and the work that he's doing, and just continues to plug on, to keep going forward and helping one kid at a time, boys in particular. But I just, so we're going to talk about that. We've got a nice balance again. I'm trying to balance everything and still do some light stuff, which is what we normally do here on the first day. But I do believe, are we going to talk to Rick? Is Rick here? Rick is here. I thought we would talk to FOP President Rick Snyder, who is here. Rick, how are you this morning? Uh-oh. Rick, you there?
Hello, Rick.
Uh-oh. No? Kylan's getting him up here. President of FOP, and to find out, they obviously have some reaction to this as well. And God bless our law enforcement, right, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most heartbreaking things here, aside from the loss of life, that's what matters most. But my fear is somebody who just has this affection towards downtown, just absolutely adores downtown. And
You
my
live
fear
here.
is when you have like this Super Bowl Christmas event for downtown, all in one, these 4th of July fireworks, and everybody from the donut counties and across Indiana comes to downtown Indianapolis to celebrate this. It's festive. Everybody is having a great time, and downtown showing us stuff and it's showing off, and then this happens. Yeah. And my
Just
fear
takes your breath.
is
It's just like a punch in the gut.
it is, and my fear as a downtown resident, who's somebody who absolutely loves it down here, is this scares people from coming to downtown Indianapolis for anything, let alone the 4th of July fireworks. It'd be like, hey, I was down there, made 100,000 other people last year, and this happened. I'm not going to go back, and I'm not going to go downtown ever again.
And how many people did you see when we posted? We posted in our social media at WIBC, as well as all of our Urban One radio stations, because we simulcast. And I saw lots of love, but I also saw a lot of, I'm not coming downtown.
Yeah.
Who would come downtown before this even incident happened? And people ask us all the time, man, I'm sure for you, do you feel safe downtown? I do. I really do, but I'm not down here at 1 o'clock in the morning, and neither should your kids be down here at 1 o'clock in the morning.
There's something to be said. I'm used to, and maybe I shouldn't get used to it, but I'm used to people approaching me for money, homeless people, and people, some would say accosted and everything. That's not a big deal to me. I can only imagine what it's like for, say, a mother with 2 kids or a family of 5 that are coming into downtown that have to experience that. For me, it's not a big deal. It's harmless, but if it's out of somebody's norm, they may see that and feel like, okay, this is a problem.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm hoping that we can ask Rick Snyder about
In fact,
these
he's
shootings.
here, too. Wait just a minute. You want to talk to you?
Yeah, I think that would be great if we could.
Okay, Rick Snyder is here with us. Rick, president of FOP, thanks for giving us your time on a Sunday morning. Matt's already got a question for you, Rick. Good morning, by the way.
Ahead, guys.
Thanks for
Good
being
morning.
here.
All right, good morning, Rick. Thanks for hanging out on Sunday, man. I wanted to ask you, with these shootings and what Terry and I were talking about, is the fear that people in the donut counties or across Indiana might have towards coming to downtown Indianapolis. And I look at these shootings, and are they random, so to speak, or are we finding out that these people know each other? What kind of homicides do we have here in downtown Indianapolis or across Indianapolis? What do you see are the more common types here?
Well, it's definitely not a good time or a good thing for visitation to our capital city when daily and nightly we're seeing headlines of non-fatal shootings, non-fatal stabbings, as well as multiple homicides and violent attacks. Guys, this has been no secret. You know, we've had 5 back-to-back years of record levels of homicides, 200 plus every year for the last 5 years. You can't really conceal that or downplay it or suggest that there isn't reason to have concern. We've had too many lives that have been affected and families that have been destroyed. What I can tell you is that we get homicides of all kinds, known offender and suspects to one another, and also random and unknown as well. And so what's been most concerning is we've seen in recent weeks an increase again in violence occurring in our downtown corridor. Remember, we have this mass shooting on Friday night. We have 7 people shot, 2 of which lost their lives, both of which were juveniles. But, Matt, you know that didn't happen in a vacuum. The weekend before, we had a triple shooting literally on the circle. Video footage and photographs show it looks like the OK Corral. Yeah. The weekend before that, we have a triple shooting on the canal. And oftentimes juveniles are involved, illegally possessing firearms. And the question becomes, how are our children turning to violence and at the same time somehow to possess firearms illegally throughout our city?
Yeah. You know, I was thinking about this, Rick, because I grew up here and I love this city so much, and I'm older, and so I'm curious to know what has changed from growing up in this area and coming downtown in the 80s to where we are today. What has happened? Is it parents? Is it drugs? Is it guns? Is it what? Social media? What is it that's changed so much for the kids?
Well, going all the way back to 2019, we had another mass shooting in downtown Indianapolis. People tend to forget about it, but we had 6 people shot in that incident, 3 of which were juveniles. And the very next day, Reverend Charles Harrison from the 10-Point Coalition and myself stood on a corner in downtown Indianapolis, and we warned then of what we could see over the horizon that was coming our way with surges of violence. Terry, what coincidentally coincided with were criminal justice reforms that were implemented and fully took effect in January of 2020. And ever since that occurred, which created a revolving door of criminal justice in Marion County, homicide and levels of violence have surged to these record levels. People will say correlation isn't causation, but as a public safety policing professional, somebody who's been doing this for 30 years, I can tell you we can point exactly to that's when things turn for the worse. And what it really comes down to, and what I hear in your frustration is, there's truly a lack of accountability that has occurred specifically in our capital city. And because of that, you have children who have no fear of consequences from any adjudication or follow on through the criminal justice process for the criminal acts that they are committing. And then that gets further compounded by adult criminals, violent offenders, who put the guns in their hands because they know nothing will happen to those kids. And that's been exacerbated within our adult criminal court system. We've been very outspoken about that for the past 5 years, and unfortunately, we're now reaping what has been sown.
Kylan?
We always are going to worry about our first responders, our service members, and especially for you and cops all around who have had foul, saddening actions brought towards them. How does an event like this take a toll on your guys' mental state? I would love to hear from that side of that we don't really get to see.
Well, there are always severe impacts on the wellness of our officers, both mentally and emotionally, and I would suggest to you guys spiritually as well. I'm a very strong believer, and you know, the things that we are witnessing aren't surprises. There's actually a book out there that tells us about all of these things. It's called the Bible and the Word of God, and he makes very clear that when we turn away from him and we turn away from the norms that he has called us to, we're going to see these problems. There's actually a word in God that says, because they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, he gave them over to a deprived mind so that they would do what ought not to be done. I would suggest to you that's exactly what's occurring in our capital city. And quite frankly, you're seeing it in multiple other places around this nation.
Yeah.
And so what our officers know is they've been called to this service. The question that we ask them is, if you truly believe that you were called, who is it that did the calling? And that's when officers start to realize that this is much bigger than just themselves, but it's about being called to this service to stand the line literally between good and evil. And when our officers see that they're being cut off at the knees and literally handcuffed by the very system that they're risking their lives for, it takes a huge toll on their psyche, their spirit, but also their families and just their overall morale. We always say morale matters. And if we don't get a handle on this and get back to basics and start ensuring that there's accountability, especially for violent acts that occur and impact and take the lives of other people, none of this will change. And so we've called consistently for our local court system, our local Indianapolis, Marion County prosecutor, to start enforcing and upholding the law again. Our officers are making arrests. You heard Chief of Police Chris Bailey say 20 arrests were made just prior to this mass shooting occurring. Cops are not your problem. It's the revolving door of criminal justice system and those with philosophies to break it and remake it that are leading to these tragic outcomes.
Matthew.
Yeah, Rick, in light of these shootings in the violence, Indianapolis has put in a curfew for minors. This is 15-year-olds and under, I believe, 11 p.m. until 5 a.m., and that's a daily thing. Do we have the resources and the officers to implement and to enforce this kind of curfew?
Yeah, we absolutely do, and it's a matter of will. You know, people say, well, if you detain a juvenile on a curfew violation, which is a status offense, what does that really do? What it does is it interrupts these cycles of violence. Guys, we say this consistently. We're not out here to arrest people because we somehow get some sick, twisted gratification out of putting somebody in jail. What we know is that by doing that, it provides for intervention, and intervention is prevention. I would rather a juvenile, a parent, be mad at me because I detained him for a curfew violation, or an adult offender be mad at me because I put him in jail for a lesser crime allegation or crime incident, than to turn away, have deliberate indifference, and allow them to lose their life or now go to prison for the rest of their life because of a violent outcome that could have been prevented. And so that's why we say intervention is prevention. We need to interrupt the cycles of violence. This is just yet another tool for us to do that. It's not a panacea. It won't solve all of our problems. But here again, it puts another tool in the tool belt of the officers who are the ones standing out there at 1 a.m. in the middle of the streets defending the city. I would close with this, Matt, and just say we've got to get past having 1 a.m. incidents of violence followed by 1 p.m. press conference by politicians. What we have been saying for the last several weeks is our politicians in charge have to engage and start assisting and supporting our officers before the incidents occur, not after. We begged for our Indianapolis mayor, prosecutor, and city county council president to speak out and start showing that support over the last 2 weeks, and they shrugged it off. And then here we stood with 2 dead kids in downtown Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So something has got to change there. We aren't about just pointing fingers at people. We're about pointing to solutions. And we know what can work and what will work and what has worked. And we've got to get back to it.
Earlier this morning, I and yesterday too, I just like Chief Bailey and all of you and many others. You know, we're done being numb with all of this and mad, and now we're mad. And I immediately got mad at parents, and I'm not a parent, and I don't know situations. But I immediately thought this starts at home. You know, this starts at home. It has to, because that's how it started for me. And so how do you keep, and a lot has been talking about keeping parents accountable or making parents accountable. How do you do that? How do you do that, Rick?
Well, again, when you don't have accountability in the adult courts, you can't be surprised when it trickles down to your juvenile courts. When you don't have accountability within the home, you can't be surprised when you see no fear of consequences in the streets. So what you're tapping into is a much bigger issue, right?
Yeah.
A more global issue,
Yeah.
which is this breakdown of the family. And again, I don't sugarcoat it. It's a lack of fathers in the home. When you look at many of these families, you will find that they suffer from fatherlessness. And that is a huge problem within our culture, not just in Indianapolis, but across our country. And a lot of people don't like it, guys. But nothing is going to change until we get back to basics, until we turn back to God, and we start inviting him into the situation. We've driven him out of every place we can think of.
You're right.
We drove him out of our courts. We drove him out of our schools. We drove him out of our homes. And then we wonder, how do we have such societal breakdown? Well, when your society is based on the rights that are provided by your Creator, you would do well to stay focused on him. People don't want to hear that, but they need to hear that. And I'm telling you guys, our children they're starving, they're hungry and thirsty to hear truth from the Word of God.
I'm going to end right there. I think that is the perfect spot to end because you are so right. Rick Snyder, the president of the Indianapolis FOP, thank you a million times for sharing some time with us this Sunday afternoon. I'm grateful to you, and God bless our law enforcement officers, because I listened to that scanner on 4th of July and many other times too, and I have a feeling I understand what they're up against, the dispatchers, all of them, and we're just so grateful for all of them, and you too, Rick. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. God bless, and keep praying for our police officers and our detectives.
Absolutely. It is 12:22. We're going to take a break. This is the first day on 93 WIBC.
Hello, my name is Nate Clancy. I'm with Laborers Local 120.
I want some good news right now.
Matt Berry's here. Kylan Talley now. It's time for Kylan's stories.
The procession for the mass shooting just began earlier this hour at the Cathedral Church right next to us. The Christ Yes, the Christ Church Cathedral. And then our hearts also go out to Texas and everything that they're going through right now.
The flooding, massive flooding.
Governor Greg Abbott declared today as the day of prayer, as people are still missing. At least 59 people have died. And
wow, that number went up from last night, which was like 24, 32, something like that. It's up to 50s.
That was after the Guadalupe River rose 24 feet in just about 20 minutes. So
is this the good news story?
So, you know what? Yes, let's get to some good news.
Blood pressure. Bless your heart. I mean,
This weekend.
Okay, I'm ready. We're ready.
A little Hoosier made another record, let's say.
The Nathan's famous 4th of July champion of the world, Joey Chestnut!
Chestnut.
He cannot be beat. 70? What do you have, 70 hot dogs?
70 and a half.
I could do it.
And a half. In 10 minutes.
That's nothing.
His record is 76 wieners. And so that was set in 2021. He skipped last year, as you know, and is back. And so he took it back again.
He went with those
Let's
veggie
go.
dogs last year.
Is he still chasing them with water?
Yeah, you dunk
water.
the bun in the water and everything.
Cheater!
And this week in Indiana history, we celebrate McCormick's Creek, which was dedicated as the first Indiana state park in 1916. It was named after John McCormick, the area's
I didn't know
first
that.
settler who settled along the canyon near the waterfalls. Pretty fun little Hoosier fact for you.
Okay,
So he
like it.
says.
That's a good story. What
Flint.
about the Wawa opening?
Oh, well, have you tried Wawa? The gas station food there?
I mean,
Oh my gosh.
if there's any good news, of course what you told us was good news, but what about the Wawa opening?
They have the best Hershey bars, I'm telling you.
Do they?
Yeah, it's delicious.
I'm excited about it. I really am. We don't have ours open yet out on the east side, but it's coming any minute now, and I can't wait. Yes.
Flint,
it's
Michigan.
so funny. Go ahead, Kyle.
Flint,
I'm sorry.
Michigan has replaced nearly 11,000 lead pipes. That work began in 2017 after they first dedicated the high levels of lead that they found. And now
It's
you
not
may
as-
be saying,
not as good a story as the Wawa
but
opening.
it's okay. Yeah, maybe not as good as some delicious gas station food, but I would like to think that this is an accomplishment for us too, because as you know, water isn't confined to state boundaries, even if they're in pipes, because like Lake Michigan and the Great Lakes affect us and our wetlands too. So I'd like to think that that helps us as well.
It does, but not like what
Good
a
news.
Wawa is going to do for us.
And in 3 or 4 generations, the kids of Flint, Michigan is going to be able to drink clean water from that river.
Okay. Wawa's on the north central side of Indianapolis. Where's Wawa at? That's like
the new one?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't
There's
know.
one in-
But it's getting. I saw
is
the
it
big hoopla. There's a
Fishers?
grand opening this weekend. I mean, you get free stuff.
You know, what if they took the new Circle Center Mall renovation, just made it one big Wawa? Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be or a Buc-ee's.
Man. Oh, a Buc-ee's, even better.
I've never been to a Buc-ee's.
Then you could go right here downtown.
Have you
I don't
been
know
to the
about gas
Buc-ee's?
station, but
My heart beats
yes.
still.
How have I not? I've been too many times.
I've never been.
I have a Buc-ee's ornament that sits still on my wall.
I have no idea.
Well, we're talking about Fishers. Cadillac F1 will be building their Formula One cars at this new state-of-the-art facility.
That Reeves guy's coming.
That's not news, right? That was unveiled in March. But yes, just as you said, Keanu Reeves is going to be hosting a docuseries showcasing the behind-the-scenes story of this new Cadillac Formula One team. And that's going to be right here. Go Hoosiers.
That's
And-
awesome. Keanu Reeves is going to be in Fishers.
Yeah.
Oh,
mhm.
that's
and
so
I love how much activity he brings, Keanu Reeves in general. His performance at the Indiana State Fair with his band, his time at the track through just watching and then also racing. And and just fun stuff ahead of today's race, of course.
July 10th is when the new Wawa is
Okay, July 10th?
Terry.
July 10th, 8 a.m.
No respect.
And no, I really
No
do have
respect at all.
They're having free limited edition T-shirts and free hot any size coffee from July 10th through the 13th.
Don't spill your hot coffee on your
That
new T-shirt.
is some good news.
It's good news.
I think it's fun. It's awesome.
Regular news is coming up next, 93 WIBC.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard?
It's the first day. I'm Terry. Matt's here.
Hello.
Matt Bear's on camera now on YouTube. What?
No.
Kylan's here.
Woohoo! We're officially on the back half of 2025.
We are.
Do you remember your New Year's resolution still?
No, I don't make them.
No,
It's okay. You got 6 more months.
But you know what? My little honey
5?
bunch, I did notice last night that it's getting darker sooner.
Thank God.
Oh my gosh, Terry.
I'm not lying. I noticed it. I thought, well, you know what? It's 9 o'clock, but it's starting to look a little darker than it was 9 o'clock last week.
I wish we had 24 hours of dark. I
do
really
too.
do. Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Just so I can
No
go to bed
sunrise?
earlier.
It's not good for your complexion.
It's very selfish.
It's not good for your
I feel bad now
complexion.
saying that.
Don't
I
feel
need
bad.
Vitamin D.
Don't feel bad.
Why?
We've got food news coming up, right?
We sure do. We're going to be talking about some summer treats,
Summer
if you
treats.
will,
Yep.
and how you can get a part.
Not popsicles, though. I keep wanting her to talk about popsicles.
We can talk about popsicles.
Hey, can we
do you
talk
know
about
how
this?
they became popsicles?
It was truly
This
in the
boy
1800s.
put some juice in a cup and accidentally left a string inside it, and it got froze outside. And he's like, "Oh, look at that! I can eat a frozen treat," and then made them into popsicles with a stick instead.
Good
There you
thing
go.
there's water. You know, you
I
just
love
go
that
right
you
in
know
with
that history of the popsicle.
it. That's really cool.
All right, I do want to ask you a question. Okay, I know we don't ever really venture into politics, but I think this is interesting. Elon Musk is starting his own political party in
Terry.
response.
It's trending on Twitter right now. X,
Isn't
if you
it?
will.
The
It
Tesla
is.
party.
He did a poll. That announcement came a day after he posted a poll. You know, he's only 54.
54?
Mm-hmm. I couldn't. Yeah, 54. He pulled. Independence Day is the perfect time to ask you if you want independence from the two-party, or maybe three-party, right? Because we have libertarians. The two-party system. Should we create the America Party? You know, I like to see what it's about.
I do too.
America.
I'm not happy with anybody right now. Anybody. So I would say that I'd sniff at that.
What's
to
his,
see what it's about.
Does he say what his platform is? What the American
yet.
Party is going to be all about?
I'm just happy he named it the America Party instead of something like experts. I don't know.
Ex-Russia Party.
Something.
Yeah.
You never know with him.
No, you don't. But 1.2 million people voted. And it resulted in 65.4% of respondents voting yes, even
I
before he
believe that.
says what the party is about. How do you start one? Do you just is that something you have? Do you have to file paperwork?
I think you have to create a TikTok account, and then once you do that, you can actually put the video out that says, "Hey, I'm starting a party," and then and then I think
right.
You have to get elected to something.
Oh, you do?
Previous experience, like you have to be a student council president. You know, there's a lot to it to start a party.
I forgot about you. Right?
Yeah.
You're right. It must be like a lot about the student council.
You have to have a history of politics,
Yeah.
big time.
I
think it's cool. Let's try it out.
Let's see what it is. I think there's nothing venture, nothing gain. Let's see what this is about. Let's see what this America Party is about. Now, I don't know how it would do here in this red state or elsewhere, but I am interested to know what you're offering up, and I might lean that direction.
I would think it would have to be, especially with that the big beautiful bill, it's going to have to be very low tax, low property tax,
All
like
the
what
things
we're
we want,
demanding
right?
here in Indiana, low gas prices, lots of jobs, and
Right.
you stick to that. I think you're going to be okay, and you're going to get people in your party. But the question is it going to further divide the Republican Party?
Yeah, somebody will put a stop to this.
Yeah.
Immediately, somebody's
Lead
gonna say,
balloon.
Nope, that's not going to happen here.
Yeah, we'll see about your American Party.
But you know what? What he's saying is that maybe our country needs an alternative to the Democrat Republican uniparty. He says these are his words, so that the people actually have a voice. Now, so I'm asking you: do you think you actually have a voice now?
Not really, no.
Not once you elect somebody. Do you have a voice? I don't think so.
I think you do to a degree. I know so many people on our listening audience have just emailed their representatives and state senators so much about
True.
property taxes and everything.
Oh,
I
that's
think
true.
that does help.
That's a good point.
But as far as I think you have to be politically active. I think you have to make that effort to have a voice. You just can't cast your one voice or cast your one vote. And be like, hey, I have a voice now.
Yeah.
You have to make that. Just like anything in life. I mean, you just can't say I'm a firefighter. You have to go and do the training and everything else. You have to train to have a voice in politics.
Speaking of firefighters, Ozzy Osbourne, his last concert was last night. I can't believe he's still performing. But he recently teamed up with Liquid Death on a special offering. Ozzy, who's a celebrity ambassador for the brand, drank 10 cans of Liquid Death iced tea, and he left DNA on the cans. And then Liquid Death then put the cans autographed and sealed in a lab-quality container up for sale on its website for $450 each.
What?
That's beautiful. Capitalism right there. Now, that's pretty lightweight for Ozzy Osbourne, though. I mean, he used to be able to chug handles of vodka on stage. Liquid Death probably just bounced right off him. I mean, with that immune system, with that tolerance, I just absolutely didn't freeze him.
So he spit in a can, or he's got his spit in the cans, and now you can have his DNA for $450. We could do this with Matt Bear if you're willing to do something similar. I'll bet you it would bring big money. Kylan, don't you think?
I do agree with that because Squatch did this similar thing with some soap with Sydney Sweeney's bathwater.
Her bathwater. She sat in the bathwater, and then you could buy the bathwater, so you could have Sydney Sweeney's bathwater.
Guys are so weird.
We
are
so
strange
weird.
animals.
We are so
sometimes.
strange.
Yeah.
You know, we just got to talking about all the bad things that happened downtown, and now I've switched over, and now we're talking about Ozzy Osbourne, and you could buy his spit for $450, and I'll bet you people have done it.
Are people trying to recreate, someday have their own Ozzy Osbourne, or have their own Sydney Sweeney? I mean, okay.
The pitch is that someday, once technology and federal law permit, fans can use this DNA to try to clone Ozzy.
Oh, so this is like when Ted Williams froze his head. Remember the great baseball hitter? He had his head frozen, and someday
it'll be better than Jurassic World.
You're going to bring me back to life with a new body.
I think Walt Disney, right? Isn't he frozen somewhere? Oh, his whole body.
I thought it was his head.
No, that you were on the right track. That was somebody else that had the head. That was a baseball player.
I think it was Babe Ruth's body and Ted Williams' head. I think.
Know.
Okay.
You know, while you're talking about Ozzy Osbourne, I think it was really cool to see that last photo of Black Sabbath along with Metallica, Aerosmith, all of them that were there for that final concert of Back to the Beginning happening this weekend. That was a pretty cool picture to see because all of these heavy metal legends all in one place.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
History.
Yeah, it's nice.
Who all was there? Do we know? It was Metallica, Ozzy Osbourne, maybe.
Aerosmith, Pantera, Van Halen.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Van Halen was there too.
Van Halen?
Right there.
That's a good
Maybe
show.
some Guns N' Roses too.
Where was that concert?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Okay, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. We got to take a break.
I'm going to say the Egyptian Room.
Oh, yo, that would be so cool. We'd break the floor.
No, my buddy saw Slayer there. He hasn't been the same. It was a good show. Yes, we would break the floor. Absolutely.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, we'll take a break. Matt, you're leaving, aren't you?
Yeah, I got to go.
Okay. Thanks for coming by and saying hello today.
Love
You're
you
the
guys.
best. You can hear him starting tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And by the way, there is some construction, the clear path construction. More of it is coming towards the end of the week. You'll talk about that. I'll bet you.
Yeah, there's West Street downtown. That's
When's that
going under construction starting tomorrow.
Oh, it starts tomorrow?
Yeah.
Tell us real quick.
From 11th Street down to Morris. I'm sorry, the look you just gave me.
The concert was in Utah.
Oh,
There's
God,
some
thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
Let's get distracted from this construction.
Let's go away from the construction. That's awesome.
And don't forget Matt and Ryan Hedrick. Matt, not together, but Matt, Bear, and Ryan Hedrick. They're fantastic podcast. Supporting sobriety.
Thank you. It's supporting sobriety at any podcast provider. Could be Spotify, could be Apple Music, Apple iTunes, whatever you want to use. We talked to the caregiver of the alcoholic and addict, me being a recovering alcoholic and Ryan being a recovery addict, and that's what we talked to.
Love to have you back here more, and we can talk about that. I mean, there's all different routes that I sometimes ask you about, and I always think would be a great conversation. Come back and see us.
Anytime. Thanks for asking.
You're the best. That's Matt Bear. I'm Terry. There's Kylan. We'll take a break. Food News next, 93 WIBC.
This I've come to know. So if you agree, have a drink with me, raise your glasses for a toast to a little bit of chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday.
It is National Fried Chicken Day. Thanks for being here with us today on this Sunday. First day, 93 WIBC.
His place has great fried chicken.
It does, yeah. His place eatery.
His eatery. I told you earlier, I love MCL. Love my MCL chicken, fried chicken.
If you want some fried chicken deals, Kroger is doing $3 off on their 8-piece home chef fried chicken with your Kroger card, right? And that gets you $5.99.
Yeah.
For 8-piece?
How much?
$5.99 for an 8-piece.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take it.
That's a great
BOGO
price.
free crispy chicken sliders with code CRISPY at White Castle. I've never gotten chicken from White Castle, but
it's good.
Maybe it's your thing.
Nice little chicken sandwich.
If you're a member at Jack in the Box, you can get a free Cluck chicken sandwich with $5 purchase and Burger King free Royal Crispy chicken sandwich with a $1 purchase. But that's not the food news because we have some more food news happening this week. Some food news for
Let's
you.
go.
One of the
Food news.
biggest, funnest summer events that you'll have, especially with this wonderful heat wave that we've got. We've got the 36th annual ice cream social around the corner this Thursday. And a friend of the show, Brooke Williams, Director of Communications for the American Dairy Association Indiana, is here to talk about it. Brooke, thank you for being here.
Hi, Brooke.
Always happy to talk about food with you guys.
We talk about the best food. Talk about, everybody knows about the ice cream social, but for those who may be a new face for this ice cream social happening, tell us about what they can expect when they go.
Yes, well, July is National Ice Cream Month, and so very important to our Indiana dairy farm families that we celebrate such a delicious treat. So our 36th annual ice cream social on Monument Circle happening Thursday, July 10th from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. You can come on down, buy a $5 ice cream sundae that is a very generous portion of ice cream. You can meet a cow, thanks to our friends at Purdue that are bringing down a cow. And you can have fun. We'll have mascots out there. It's always a fun event, but for families, friends, people working downtown, just come and join us and we'll have a little party.
I was going to say, you've always supported such great organizations too locally. Is there a benefactor for the ice cream social this year too?
Absolutely. All proceeds from the sales go to Indiana Sports Corp. So doing great things in the community. They're the ones responsible for bringing such fun sporting events. Right now, the WNBA All-Stars are coming into town. But they're going to take all the money raised by our ice cream sales and put it back into those community endeavors and, continue making an impact in sports and with youth throughout the community.
It'll be a party on Thursday at the Ice Cream Social, and the Indiana Sports Corp, they make a party wherever they have their hand. Like the swim trials last year, wonderful event, and the All-Star is surely going to be the same. A little behind the scenes, what made you guys choose Indiana Sports Corp?
Yeah, it's very important, as I mentioned, our Indiana dairy farm families who we work for. We're always looking for an organization that's making an impact in communities and specifically in youth. As we know, youth play a big part in the future of our world, our country, and making smart decisions. And so obviously we want the youth to be consuming dairy on a daily basis, but we also want them doing great things in their community. And so, we've worked with the Boys and Girls Club in the past, big brothers, big sisters. And so this year to work with Indiana Sports Corp and see how they're helping the youth throughout the state. You mentioned the Olympic swim trials. When they came into town last summer, Indiana Sports Corp was training the youth on smart swimming practices. And so they really make that connection of, if we're doing these fun events, how can we educate kids as well at the same time? And so that's a lot of what we do as well. And, educating youth about nutrition and how to just take better care of your body starting from a young age. And so it really was an easy decision when, Indiana Sports Corp, we've participated in a lot of their corporate challenges, and we're happy to be a sponsor last year at that swim activation. And so it just made sense. We're really excited that they're bringing that sports athletic side to the ice cream social on Thursday. Can't wait to be out there.
How many dairy farmers? This is also supporting our Indiana dairy farmers, too. How are our Indiana dairy farmers doing? What challenges right now, if any?
Well, just keeping the cows cool. That would be the biggest challenge.
Yeah.
But, our almost 700 dairy farm families in the state. And we're coming off of June Dairy Month, National Dairy Month, and now for it to be National Ice Cream Month. And, of course, we'll be opening the doors to the Indiana State Fair Dairy Bar here in just a few weeks. And so it's a fun time of year to be a dairy farmer and to really, see people so excited about all the delicious dairy products that their beautiful cows are helping produce. And so, it's a fun time to talk about it.
I saw you all last at the Rookie Luncheon in the month of May, which you have supported for so many years. A lot of money handed down. And so I just am curious to let, it's okay if we tell everybody what the new drink is this year, the new milkshake is for the State Fair, right? You want to talk about that for a minute? Because it's delicious.
Absolutely. The key lime pie milkshake.
It's so good, Kylan.
Gosh, that sounds delicious.
I had one and then I took one to go because it really is one of my favorites. Key lime milkshakes.
Shake of the summer.
Yeah, shake of the summer. Are we doing grilled cheese again? Many of them, different kinds.
Yeah, this year we have the smoked Gouda Q. So it's smoked Gouda with cheddar, a drizzle of barbecue sauce on Texas toast.
It's so good. I love Texas toast.
My mouth is
watering. Mine is too. Okay, we got to wait for that. That comes up at the Great Indiana State Fair. Until then, we want you to buy a giant ice cream sundae at the Ice Cream Social coming up this week.
$5 donation to the American Dairy Association. Proceeds benefiting the Indiana Sports Corp. You have $2 bottled water if you need it. Sundae means all the toppings. I love my chocolate and sprinkles. You'll have plenty of other toppings to choose from there. If people also want to order an ice cream party pack, how do they do that?
Yeah, visit winnersdrinkmilk.com. And if you're not able to join us on Thursday, but could maybe have someone just stop by, we'll have a party pack all ready for you to go. You can get sent home with 2 cartons of Kroger's vanilla ice cream, whipped cream from Prairie Farms, the toppings you mentioned, and even some ice cream scoops and bowls so you can have your own party, whether it's back at the office or take it on home with you. But we've made it very easy for $25 to do that. And again, all those proceeds go to the Indiana Sports Corp.
Winnersdrinkmilk.com. Be a part of the action. Celebrate National Ice Cream Month. Meet a cow and eat some delicious sundaes this Thursday for the Ice Cream Social. Brooke Williams, Director of Communications for the American Dairy Association, Indiana. Brooke, thank you so much. Is there anything we need to know before you go? Anything else?
Just always remember that winners drink milk.
They sure do. Winners drink milk. Ice Cream Social this Thursday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Thank you.
Really cool.
Is
that going to wind us up? Are we done?
Out of here.
Are we about done? Oh, I didn't get to go over the taste of the fair. Hey, it's the last day of the Marion County Fair.
Already?
Yep. We've got, what else do we have? Symphony on the Prairie tonight. You got, what else?
Indians Kids Eat Free Day.
Hey, Kids Eat Free Day. Anyway, I'm so grateful to all FOP President Rick Snyder. Thank you.
Kareem Hines of New Boy Inc.
We're so
Matt
grateful
Bear.
to all of you.
Even Blake, good luck.
Yeah, Blake, good
and
luck to you.
And thank you for listening and being here for
and
the
Kylie,
Sunday.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, Terry.
We'll talk to you next week.
Love you.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana Health Insurance pros. It is